Welcome, everyone, as we start our Wednesday morning miracles. We are entering into chapter 19, which is, I love when we start a new chapter because it feels like something new. It feels like a new chapter in my life. And yesterday was my birthday. Happy birthday to me. And today is, a new chapter. And the chapter is called The Attainment of Peace. And today we're going to be talking about section 1, which is called Healing and Faith. I also have a special friend here that I'm going to shout her out. She's got a book that she just finished that she's going to share with the world. So we're going to highlight her and have her share a little bit in a second. But just to kind of talk about today, it always feels like healing takes time. And some of you guys know where my journey is right now with my separation with my wife and some other things going on in my life. And it feels like healing is something that I must earn. I'm fighting every day just to be a little better every day. And I'm like, okay, healing feels like that in this material world that we live in. Of all the things that are happening. But what the Course is saying here is healing happens connecting to our faith. Where do we place our faith? And it's a misplacement of faith is where all of our pains and our sufferings and all that comes from. And it feels like when our faith is placed correctly, the Course says, then healing is already happened. So we'll talk a little bit deeper into that today. So wherever you feel like you need healing in your life, whatever traumas and stories and things like that you may have carried with you up to this point, it could be any limiting beliefs, people that trigger you, broken heart, whatever is going on, we can bring that into the space here. We can, you can bring it to the forefront of your mind. Whatever is needing healing, today's intention is that we find the right place to place our faith and see if that lifts the heaviness and the burden of some of the things that we carry just a little bit more. So that's the intention that I'm setting for this call here today. And I'll open it up with a little bit of just a prayer for us. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you can just feel the seat that you're in, or feel the car that you're driving, or just feel your body being supported by wherever you are, either it's the ground or the floor. And just take 2 breaths in through your nose, and when after you take the breath in, just hold it for about a second and then let it go. And just welcoming yourself to the present moment. Welcoming myself to the present moment. Great Spirit, oh great Spirit, dear God, help us see where we've placed our faith without realizing, where we have trusted our fears and our stories and the masks that we've created, and that we've misplaced our identity. And just gently bring our minds back to truth and teach us that healing is not something that we need to earn, that it's available to us in any given moment. And that healing comes when we correctly place our faith and give us clarity in vision, clarity in our lives. And Spirit, just speak to us loudly so that we can see, and give us the courage to take action behind it. Help us trust easier this year. And may all the heaviness and the burdens of this world be just a little bit lighter each and every day. And we are willing to trust, we are willing to see it a different way. And may we realize that that is enough, that our part is just to be willing. Amen. All right. We'll open it up here with, of course, one prayer from Marianne Williamson as well, from A Year of Miracles. And here is day 113. Marianne writes, I place all problems in the hands of God. Let me just absorb that real quick. I place all problems in the hands of God. No matter what my problem, the perfect solution exists within the mind of God. My job is not to be burdened by the question, but rather to make myself available to the answer. My worrying only delays the answer, reflecting my lack of faith that there is one. Today, I will be still, knowing every answer, every healing, and every solution is on its way. The universe is self-correcting, and I am a child of the universe. Miracles occur in response to every problem. Yet it is my faith and compassion that brings them forth. May my mind be a conduit of love and faith, that my problems may be solved. Dear God, in you lies the answer to every question and the solution to every problem. I place my anxious mind in your care, and I pray for the calm through which I can receive your answers, and so it is. Amen. I place all problems in the hands of God. So I would love to just begin by saying thank you. Thank you all for taking the time to be on this call here today. I always say that there are no accidents. We could be anywhere, in any time, in any lifetimes, but we've decided that this is the time. This is the time that we're going to gather for this satsang, this sharing of wisdom and this remembering of truth. We're in co-creation together. The Course says that all minds are joined. So as we are here today, let's make the most of it. Let's make the most of our remembering. Let's make the most of our time together, so that we may release some of the heaviness that we may carry, right? And all of us carry something. Something's happening at some point. As long as we are living in this world, there are people that will trigger us, situations that will upset us, movies that sadden us, Facebook posts that anger us. Our judgments come in all sorts of different forms, and the Course says that all disturbances, all of our upsets are equally disturbing to our minds. So it's not big or small. It's like any little upset is equally disturbing to our peace of mind. So, there's not big things or little things, although the ego thinks that there are. But yeah, we're here to share in this space and to create. I feel like these calls create like a little vortex that we send out into the universe and send out into the rest of the world. Since all minds are joined, as we are here remembering, there's like a little spark that is happening and touching every mind in the world as we just share and remember and forgive. The Course says forgiveness is the path, is the way that I walk in love and gratitude. So, all right. Let's open it up first with anyone that wants to set any of your own intentions. If there's things that are going on right now that you feel called to share and put into the space. And then I will highlight our friend here and have her talk just for a brief moment about her book and what she's in the journey with what she wrote. Yeah, so let's open it up for a second here. See what's wanting to be put into this soup, this conversation today. It's also okay if there's nothing, but encourage us all to do so.
Hi, Alex.
Oh, hi. Good morning.
Hi. This speaks volumes to this desire in my heart of this bring a solution based like in the 5D we can feel that the prayers of everyone and I feel this desire for more tangibility to it,
Hmm.
right? In the in a connected way where we can actually talk about it, feel it, discuss it, and depth to it, of solution oriented, consensus building, deep intellectual thought, and with prayer and intention for humanity, right? I felt this call for a while, and what you just read just resonated so much with yes, so true. Yes.
Just yes. Yeah, I feel that. I feel that for sure. Um, the course says that all thoughts create form on some level. And we are currently we just did a lesson for those of you guys that are part of the 365 lessons journey. We are on a lesson that says, or we were, that I have no neutral thoughts, and all of our thoughts, every single thought, is a line behind either love or fear. That is it. There is nothing in between. Either you are creating more trust in your own life and more love, or you are creating fear. And one is always at the expense of the other. And we don't even see the world. We see the world through the lens of our thoughts. That is it. So, you know, first, the lesson that we did on day 16 was I have no neutral thoughts. Then I see no neutral things. So it's starting to bring our thoughts combining with the things that we see out there. So, the lessons like, I do not, I don't see a neutral, I don't know, poster of Jesus in front of me, because my thoughts about the Jesus poster is not neutral. So it's just bringing our mind into alignment with what we're seeing now into the outside. So, a lot of times people are like, well, I want to see tangible things. Like the course, does it bring like tangible things into my life? Yes, because what you believe in your mind, you will see. That's the tangible. It's not like the things outside change. The things outside start to have less power. It's the inside that starts to gain the strength. And the more that we reclaim that sovereignty and that strength, and knowing that all the things that are happening outside around me is 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 just the way that I see with my mind. And so all things either show me more love or show me more fear based on what's real for me in my mind. And so this is what I love about the course. If I'm experiencing like anxiety or or lack of trust or judgment or hate or attack, whatever it is, it's because in my mind I have already made that belief real. Now this is not to say that it's not valid that somebody can actually hurt us, right? Like physically, or that they have betrayed us, or broken their word, whatever it is. Like, yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't put me in a place that I can shift my mind easily like that. Now, you can, right? It's not that we're not capable of, but when our bodies are experiencing this level of fear and heightened nervous system and anxiety, like it's going to become much more challenging for us to give things over to spirit and to trust. So sometimes the Course says when fear is too great, operating in our anxiety and our nervous systems are so out of whack, we have to borrow temporary healing modalities. So there are breath works and there are things that you can practice that can bring you and regulate yourself so that you can get to a place now that you can, practice some of the teachings of the Course. So the Course understands that we have to go through different layers through the body first, but to recognize, see, the knowing is that, hey, the body is a learning device. What happens sometimes is that we begin to think that the body is the end. The body, like fixing the body and fixing this system is the end, is the only thing that we need. But it's to get ourselves prepared to be in the conditions of receiving the messages of spirit and those things. So there are kind of layers that we go through, and the beautiful thing about the Course is like the Holy Spirit is infinitely patient. You can play around in this world of illusions, in this world of 3D material things all you want, as long as you want. But there will be a point where you've experienced enough loss or you've experienced enough pain that you're finally like, all right, I'm not playing that game anymore. I'm ready to play a different game. So, and then spirit comes from your invitation, right? Spirit's always here, but our mind has to invite spirit in. So anyways, yeah, thanks for that thought. That just kind of spun me into a different thought. So yeah, anybody else want to share anything before we move on to the next part?
Since you were talking so much about fear, it kind of reminded me of a new embodiment that I got recently that sent me back to understanding what can kind of create a shield around us from outside triggers, which is self-love.
Mm-hmm.
Because I used to be uber triggered and affected by the outside world, people, situations, everything. And the more I am allowing self-love in, it's literally shifting how I let things enter or not into my sphere.
Yeah.
So that's something that really resonates when you're talking a lot about the outside triggers. Mm-hmm. And it's like nothing gets in now that it's not in the best of my higher self.
Yeah, beautiful. And I'm writing in my book right now about that too, which is, this compassion and love for yourself, recognizing your own wounds and your own, we could call it the survival contracts that we've really signed to like protect ourselves, and it's still operating underneath, whether it be like anger and rage and just how we express when we feel like when we feel like something is unsafe, like how we respond to that. So when we also give this love and compassion to ourselves, not only do we allow the wounds and the contracts to surface so that it may be dissolved, like what we can't name and what we can't see and what we don't give compassion to just gets buried deeper inside us. and that wound reacts to things outside, it's like, well, that looks like that, so that must be danger. This person speaks this way, so that must be danger. And all these triggers come and we don't recognize it. But if we give ourselves this compassion and this love and allowing all of that too, we actually begin, the Course says, since there are no separations and all minds are joined, you begin to see, because you're giving yourself this compassion, you begin to see where other people are operating from their wounds and their contracts, and then you automatically extend compassion that way. So it's not that nothing negative comes in, it's actually we've placed our faith in a different place, and that those negative, perceived negative things actually become a doorway to more love and more light. And so the shifting happens. Like, this is what we're actually talking about today is healing and faith. Like, where do we place our faith? And once we place it in love and in truth, even when someone seems to be attacking us or is whatever that once triggered us, we see that as now a doorway or a teacher or a classroom, and we extend more love to it. And so that's why the Course has a beautiful line that says everything is either love or a call for love. And once you really truly understand what that means and you start to experience it, how could somebody trigger you, right? How could dark energies or anything like that even get to you? Because you just see it as, oh my God, it's a call for love. And then if it's a call for love, if you see it as a call for love, literally your mind is calling for love. And now this thing is now experienced as love rather than something else. So yeah, beautiful. Thank you for that share. Claudia. Hello. Hey, sister.
Good morning, everybody.
Good
So
morning.
thank you. Hi, Mindy. She's like, hi, Sonia. And everybody. So I am super, super, super like in alignment with what you were sharing, especially in the safety space, right? I had been a little events happening around. And as you say, like a lot of things that I recognize them because one day I was that person, that it will trigger because I was in fear, right? And, but I know the part is to be safe, but the only safety is created isn't like an inner work, right? It's for me to be in that space where nothing can disturb my nerve system, right? So, and it still can be like, even though practicing daily is a thing, it's like mastering the process, right? Mastering every single day that these triggers that now I don't react, but I observe is still present, right? For so long being in the space. But the truth is, for me, is that the safety that I have been creating is, and I know you have talked about that when you have to create boundaries, but the boundary is to those identity that we or others identify with, right? So that part of what is being very present to me. And I'm going to share a little story that about 2.5 years ago, I got really close to this family, and she was pregnant, and she had, I did a blessings, mother's blessing for her. I hold that space. And then what happened, I started observing some energies that were really, they were like making my nerve system not to be feeling well. They were not directly attacks to me. It was attacks to somebody who was close to me in the time. But still, I had to stand for that person because it was my partner at the time. So at that point, I had to break my friendship with this beautiful woman because it was her partner doing the distortions. So fast forward, I created that boundary physically. And I pray, I did, you name it, anything, because it hurt. to separate from a baby that I've been holding from before it was born. And it was born and I had to remove myself because I didn't feel safe. So saying this, fast forward to a couple of weeks ago, I run into her in an event, and I became close to her, and I say, I've been missing you so much. She was alone, and we hug, and we didn't say anything else, and we made an agreement to meet, and I met her last Friday, and last Friday we cried. She understood what I did. She understood there was a safety. She even recognized, I'm sorry that I was split. I thought I was so right. And I told her I didn't want to say too many things to you, what it was happening from your partner, because you were pregnant and then you just had a baby, and that's not fair to a woman to do that too. So the only way that I could protect you from just giving more of what you already had in your space was to remove myself, because it was not being supported. But I love you from far. I pray for you and your baby from the far. And she told me I needed to go through this. So we made such a beautiful peace back in my life now, 2.5 years later. She's separated from that person, and she's recognizing all these things, and she's going back to her body, because when she told me she split herself in that time, that she thought she was so out there, like in the spiritual like dimension, that everything else and everybody else was not aligned to their views. They were wrong, right? And she told me all these things, crying, and she said I needed to come back to my body to feel all my body and all my pain, to be able to get here again, to see it. So part of the process too is like when we feel pain, we want to avoid the pain, right? But I think the only way is through that pain is where we can recognize that, wow, this was very, 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 like contracting my body, but now I know how to relax my body. So if I relax my body, then all that love can come back. Beautiful. And I guess that's what she did. That's what I did. So we reconcile after 2.5 years. Not that it was something directly to us, but the outside, it was making the noise that was already inside, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I just wanted to share. That was very present to me.
Yeah, thank you. Beautiful. Thank you for that share. So often we want things where our challenges and our pains and stuff comes from. Really, is just not trusting that what the Course says. What's real can never be threatened, and so whatever is real, like, we can let things go. Right. This is a big lesson for me right now in my separation in my marriage. Is like, I can let things go, and that and what's real will remain. And what are illusions will just dissolve as I don't try to grasp and hold on to something. I don't need the certainty of something, and I don't need the, whatever it is that my ego and my mind is wanting. Because what the Course says is, like, when we place our trust into things, what we do, and we'll read this here in a second after I'm going to invite Sari to share, but what we do is we place our faith into illusions. And why do we place our faith into illusions? Because the ego's like, at least it's familiar, right? We place it into the pains and the wounds and all, and we keep going back to those things because the painful patterns that we have, at least that feels safer than what is unknown. We don't like the unknown. We need certainty. Right? So whatever that is in your challenges right now, and that you might be experiencing, like this discomfort in the unknown of the future, right? There are so many things right now. I'm learning so much about, wow, my life coming ahead in front of me. It's all unknown. And I don't know what those things are going to look like. And the ego part is like, no, we need to figure out what are things we know right now. And this is what's beautiful about what Marion Williamson shared today is like, all my questions and my solutions I place in the hands of God. I place all that in the hands of God. That is where our peace and healing comes from, is when we're willing to place our faith in the right place. But when we don't, we will just keep chasing. And even if we get something that's like, oh, yes, I got this certainty, I got something that I'm like, I can hold on to, all that does is it weakens us even more, because now with the next situation, we're like, we need that, because that gave us a little bit more of peace. So we start to chase this other thing that we thought is going to heal us, but it doesn't. And we keep chasing for temporary relief. And this is what the Course says. The ego is going to have you chase your tail. Seek but do not find is the ego's model, is just keep chasing those things, right? Get your temporary reliefs, but sacrificing long-term peace. Because as we keep chasing these things, it makes the ego and this world more real. And it makes us feel smaller and smaller and more separate. And that's the only problem the Course says that we have, is we believe that we are separate from each other and separate from everything else. So as we continue to give our power over to things that are external to us, it creates more and more separation, because as we give our power outwards, what happens is we become more and more fearful, because the powers are now outside. And so to switch this is to take this and turn upside down, and to realize that my mind is the cause, and all that's externally happening is at the effect of my mind. Or the other way to look at it is projection makes perception. That means what I'm perceiving back is a mirror or feedback to show me where I have placed my faith in my mind. So now where we are in chapter 19 is, where do we place our faith? It's beautiful because the chapter is called The Attainment of Peace. Like, try to maybe make a commitment. Like, if this is like, okay, attainment of peace, this feels important. This feels like something that I'm really wanting to do. Well, for the next Wednesday, Sunday, like, try to make, or at least watch the replays of all of chapter 19. You know, make a commitment, like, because they go with each other. You know, like, section 1 is healing and faith. Section 2 is sin versus error. Section 3 is the unreality of sin. And then section 4 is one of my favorites, and you don't want to miss this in the Course, is the obstacles to peace. It's broken into four parts, I believe. C, D, yeah, it's a pretty long section, but that will end. Chapter 19 is a very short chapter, and it's the attainment of peace. And so we're going to talk about the obstacles to peace, which is, you know, the Course's framework is love is beyond what can be taught. But you know what? We're going to look at all the barriers that we have built against love. Peace is something that can't be taught. You have to look at all the things that peace is not, right? So this section, the attainment of peace, is to look at all the obstacles to peace. So that's going to be, it changed my life, this chapter. So I invite everybody to you know, really tune in and presence yourself to chapter 19, because it's going to be a very powerful section. All right. So right now we're going to highlight my friend Sarit here. She has just finished a book, and she has a book that she wants to share. I know the what it takes, or what it's taking, to at least write a book. You know, it's been like a 4-year journey for me. And yeah, so anyone that has like finished a book, like there is so much to that medicine. So I'd love for you, Suri, to just share about your journey and your book, and what it's about.
Thank you so much, Alex. Hi, everybody. First of all, I want to acknowledge you, Alex. from meeting you for the first moment, you are such a grounding, peaceful soul. Literally, you omit peace to everybody that comes into your atmosphere. And I'm so excited for your next chapter. I know it's going to be wonderful because you are wonderful.
Thank you.
And I just feel like wanting to tell you to sit with your vision and start manifesting a big, juicy, dreamy vision that gets you excited to focus on. So about the book. First of all, I want to tell you it took me 6.5 years to follow through with it. It was very easy to keep putting it down and picking it back up and then putting it back down. And I want to tell you all, if you ever think to write a book, which I think there's a book in everybody because it's another form of art, that's all it is. Never quit. To go for it. Just never quit. Even if it takes 100 years, you finish the book, you got a book. My book is called The Girl Who Doesn't Go on Roller Coasters. And it's basically for anyone that has fears or they're identifying themselves as a worry bunny. This book is a memoir / self-help, and it's here to support this message that fear never goes away. We'll always have fear, but we can either deny it and stay at home and do nothing, or we can face the fear and grow. So this is a whole bunch of different fears with really funny tales on how I overcame these fears. And I share the tools that came up to me to face them. From needles to not going into the ocean till I was 18 because fish live there, to then suddenly becoming a certified mermaid and paddleboarding with humpback whales, to being afraid of airplanes, to suddenly doing open air helicopter rides in Hawaii and jumping out of planes. So I'm here to show you that a scaredy cat, I was a complete scaredy cat, afraid of everything, can become an adventurer and become a new identity or a new version of herself that she chooses. My biggest message for you, I mean, you can get the book or not. It's not so much about the book. For me, it's helping me get this message out that when we overcome fear, we could truly dance with life. We could focus on our passions and what lights us up and gets us jumping out of the bed in the morning. Because fear is the only thing, kind of like what Alex was talking about, that's just interfering with our peace. But when we have this passion or dream to become something, yes, the fears will appear as the obstacles on the way. But we just basically become fear busters. So I'm here to remind you how much wonderfulness there is in the world and to not let any fear, big or small, stand in your way. And the more you practice overcoming these fears, it actually feels easier, especially if you do it near each other, because the longer you don't do something, then the fear grows again. And it's always going to be with us. It's like a little buddy of ours or a little toddler saying, shouldn't you be scared? Shouldn't you be scared? And you tell that toddler, oh, don't worry, this is not really life or death. Like, I'll be fine. Thank you for letting me know, though, that I should look out for danger. But this is not dangerous. Because fear is put in us for a reason, right? Like if it's a burning house and we need to escape now, yeah, thank you, fear, for letting us know to get out of that house. But if we're about to have a scary conversation and we're too afraid that we're not going to have the conversation, we don't need that fear then. So my book, again, is called The Girl Who Doesn't Go on Roller Coasters. Right now, it's for free on Kindle, on Amazon. And within a few weeks, we're going to have the soft cover and the hard cover. And if you have somebody that you know that lets a lot of fear prevent them from living life to the fullest, then I would love for you to share the book with them. But most importantly, I hope I inspired you to take that next step towards your dream. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you for that share. And I think, that is something that can resonate and everybody can relate to, and as you're sharing that, there's somebody just gave me a book, literally. It's called Love is Letting Go of Fear. And apparently it's a great entry book into A Course in Miracles. So this guy, Gerald Jampolsky, wrote a book about A Course in Miracles, which is really beautiful and then pretty good, pretty awesome. So yeah, love it. Thank you for sharing that with us. Okay, so what we're gonna do right now is we are gonna dive into chapter 19, section 1. It's a semi-medium length read, but this is a really beautiful chapter. I know that because I have almost every when I see lines underlined in like every section, a lot of it I just remember, oh my God, some lines when I see it, I'm like, oh my God, I remember how long ago, because I've had this book for so long. Like, I remember when this first landed for me. So so many different things I underline, and there's different colors meaning different times it affected me differently. So I got my pen ready, and let's see what lines I will underline here as well here in this section. So we're going into chapter 19, section 1, healing and faith. So this is the attainment of peace. So welcome to the attainment of peace. Really, I think what attainment of peace really is also like the remembrance of peace. All right. So, all right. But the course meets us where we're at. So we're in this place of what do we need to do to get it? All right. So there are conditions in which must be met in order for spirit and for us to actually walk through the gates of heaven. So peace is that condition before we walk through the gates. All right. So before we start, let's just take 2 breaths in and welcome again to this new moment. And whatever happened before this moment, whatever before here and before right now, we can just wrap it up in our minds and just in your mind's eye, just put them all aside. Just shove it all to one side and be in a space of no mind. And just allow these words and allow yourself to be still enough to receive, to download. And yeah, there's nothing that we need to do, as all questions and solutions are in the hands of God. So we can, for the next 2 pages that we read here, let's just give all of our other things and worries, whatever else is going on, to God. And we'll just be present here to listen to the energy transfers from these words of A Course in Miracles. So chapter 19, section 1, healing and faith. We said before that when a situation has been dedicated wholly to truth, peace is inevitable. Its attainment is the criterion by which the wholeness of the dedication can be safely assumed. Yet we also said that peace without faith will never be attained, for what is dedicated to truth as its only goal is brought to truth by faith. This faith encompasses everyone involved, for only thus the situation is perceived as meaningful and as whole. And everyone must be involved in it, or else your faith is limited and your dedication is incomplete. Every situation, properly perceived, becomes an opportunity to heal the Son of God. And he is healed because you offered faith to him, giving him to the Holy Spirit and releasing him from every demand your ego will make of him. Oh my God, another line that was not underlined that needs to be underlined right now. And it's so prevalent to different situations in my life right now. He is healed because you offer faith to him. Give him to the Holy Spirit and release him from every demand your ego will make of him. Okay. Thus, do you see him free, and in this vision does the Holy Spirit share. And since he shares it, He has given it, and so he heals through you. It is this joining him in a united purpose that makes this purpose real, because you make it whole. And this is healing. The body is healed because you came without it and joined the mind, the capital mind, in which all healing rests. The body cannot heal because it cannot make itself sick. It needs no healing. Its health or sickness depends entirely on how the mind perceives it and the purpose that the mind will use it for. It is obvious that a segment of the mind can see itself as separated from the universal purpose. When this occurs, the body becomes its weapon and used against this purpose to demonstrate the fact that separation has occurred. The body thus becomes an instrument of illusion, acting accordingly, seeing what is not there, hearing the truth that was never said, and behaving insanely, being imprisoned by insanity. Do not overlook our earlier statement that faithlessness leads straight to illusions. For faithlessness is the perception of a brother as a body, and the body cannot be used for purposes of union. If then you see your brother as a body, you have established a condition in which uniting with him becomes impossible. If you see your brother as a body, you have established a condition in which uniting with him is impossible. Your faithlessness to him has separated you from him and kept you both apart from being healed. Your faithlessness has thus opposed the Holy Spirit's purpose and brought illusions centered on the body to stand between you. The body will seem to be sick, for you have made it an enemy of healing and the opposite of truth. So, the ego is like, when the ego reads this is why the Course sometimes is really dense and it's hard for us to read on our own, because what are you talking about, Course? Right? Because we can pick evidence in which, no, I will not apply this idea to this person. Right? It's easy to apply this idea to somebody that you're just so in love with, and it's easy to do, but it's the people that challenge you the most. Can you place that relationship in the hands of the Holy Spirit? The ego's like, no, right? Like, what my ego and what I demand of this person must be satisfied first before healing can possibly happen. This is what the Course is pointing at, where we have placed our faith. We're placing our faith in the ego, and we're placing our faith in an illusion because we think that our peace and our healing is going to come from what the ego demands of this person. But true healing and true faith, true healing and where we place our faith, is into the wholeness of the sonship. The sonship is the one. Okay, all minds being one mind. It cannot be difficult to realize that faith must be the opposite of faithlessness. Yeah, I can receive that, Mr. Course. Yet, the difference in how they operate is less apparent, though it follows directly from the fundamental differences in which they are. Faithlessness would always limit and attack. Faith would remove all limitations and make whole. Faithlessness would destroy and separate. Faith would unite and heal. Faithlessness would interpose illusions between the Son of God and his Creator. Faith would remove all obstacles that seem to rise between them. Faithlessness is wholly dedicated to illusions, and faith is wholly to truth. Partial dedication is impossible. Truth is the absence of illusion. Illusion is the absence of truth. Both cannot be together, nor perceived in the same place. To dedicate yourself to both is to set up a goal forever impossible to attain. For part of it is sought through the body, though as means for seeking out reality through attack. The other part would heal and therefore calls upon the mind and not the body. So this is making the Course is making a very distinct statement here. A very what word am I looking for? It's a statement, right? The Course is making a statement that you cannot actually be partially aligned. So if we in our mind see the ego's like, as long as you feel like you can choose between illusion and truth in different times, the fact that there is a choice already loops you into the ego, into faithlessness. And because total allegiance is the only way. So you cannot keep parts of illusions and make whole. This is this once we come to this place, and this is my journey in the Course, is I've come to this place where I know just this. It's all or nothing. My allegiance is either all to my faith or or it's nothing. And it's any given moment, right? It's not like, oh, I'm failing because right now I'm doing this. It's this moment. Am I all aligned to faith and putting my trust in God, or I'm not doing it at all? There is no partial allegiance. Yes, here, God, I'll give this to you, and I'm going to hold on to this. And this is part of the workbook, why the workbook is so powerful, because the workbook is also gently guiding us into this. You don't exclude anything, and you don't include anything. And this practice, bringing our mind to all things are the same, and all things either serve love or serve fear, or what the Course right now is calling is truth or illusion. All right, so the Course uses many different terms on purpose, because sometimes it says love or fear, other times it says truth or illusions, other times it says heaven or hell, right? They're really all the same thing. Love, heaven, truth, knowledge, they're all the same. They're just different words for the same thing. God, okay? All of that is the same. On the other spectrum is ego, fear, illusions, reality with a lowercase r, all of the ego. Did I already say the ego? Yeah. So all of that is the same as well. And there is no partial allegiance, like it's all or nothing. One is at the expense of the other. Okay. So what I love about the Course is like, there you go, right? This is your path. You can in any given moment choose fully to be aligned to one or the other. Your confusion, and Eastern philosophy teaches about this duality too, is your confusion lies in you thinking there are two options, that you can choose right now between the two. And yes, it's true, you can choose between the two. But the fact that you think that you have this choice makes the other real. And this is the, yes, we're choosing from one aspect of looking. Yes, there is a choice in this. The other one is only God is real. Only love is real. And so it's not even so much in choosing so, it's that we just place our faith and that's the only thing. And when we believe and when we see that that's the only thing, love becomes all encompassing. Even our experiences, even the quote unquote fear and separation that shows up, we start to see that all things are the classrooms of love. And this is where the Course is inviting us into, is love or a call for love. There is nothing else other than that. And once we are fully in that, that's where the healing happens for us, because our faith is placed in the right place. Okay, let me continue. Thanks. The inevitable compromise is the belief that the body must be healed and not the mind. For this divided goal has given both an equal reality, which could be possible only if the mind is limited to the body and divided into smaller parts of seeming wholeness, but without connection. This will not harm the body, but it will keep the delusional thought system of the mind. Here, then, is healing needed. So the Course is now introducing the only healing that we need. Okay? Here is where the healing is needed, and it is here that the healing is. For God gave healing not apart from sickness, nor established remedy where sickness cannot be. They are together, and when they are seen together, all attempts to keep both truth and illusion in the mind, where both must be, are recognized as dedication to illusion and given up when brought to truth, and when seen as totally unreconcilable with truth in any respect or in any way. Truth and illusion have no connections. This will remain forever true. However much you seek to connect them, both illusions are always connected, as is truth. Each is united, a complete thought system, but totally disconnected to each other. And to perceive this is to recognize where separation is and where it must be healed. The result of an idea is never separate from its source. The idea of separation produced the body and maintains connected to it, making it sick because the mind's identification with it. You think you are protecting the body by hiding this connection. For this concealment seems to keep your identification safe from the attack of truth. If you but understood how much this strange concealment has hurt your mind and how confused your identification has become because of it, you do not see how great the devastation wrought by your faithlessness. For faithlessness is an attack that seems to be justified by its results. For by withholding faith, you see what is unworthy of it and cannot look beyond the barrier to what is joined with you. To have faith, here's the introduction to healing. To have faith is to heal. It is the sign that you have accepted the atonement for yourself and would therefore share it. By faith, you have offered the gift of freedom from the past, which you received. You do not use anything your brother has done before to condemn him now. So, first in this line, what is atonement? Okay, a lot of times people think atonement is to pay for, is to, it's really like to sacrifice and to pay for something, right, that you've done. So you atone for it. Atonement, what the Course says is atonement is the undoings of something. Correcting where correction happened. The mistake happened at its source, that separation somehow could be real. The atonement is the undoing of those things, which happens through forgiveness. Forgiveness is not that I condone something has happened. Forgiveness is literally to make nothing of it. I give forth this story that I have of it. Is to recognize that what I thought someone did to me has not actually occurred in the way that I thought. So that means I must give up my past. So when you atone for something, you're offering the gift of freedom from the past. So when you have atoned in this way, you do not use anything your brother has done before to condemn him now. Wow, we can practice this for the rest of our lives. Think about somebody that just upsets you based on what they've said. I literally have somebody in my life right now, and this has been a great teacher, and I use him all the time on this call. It's somebody that just continues to break his word to me day in and day out, and I'm just like practicing the Course. It's been a great classroom for me, and I'm starting to recognize that, and I'm having more and more peace around just almost even laughing at the fact that of the things he says, before I would get so angry about it. You freely choose to overlook his errors. And I'm not saying to just like go and do this with everyone constantly and just lose your shit constantly. It's like pick someone to play with, right? Pick one person that just triggers you and just start playing with that, right? You don't need to go and find 100, but just pick one. Because as you practice with this one, you will start to it will automatically share out into other areas of your life. You freely choose to overlook his errors, looking past all barriers between yourself and him, and seeing them as one. And in the one you see your faith is fully justified. There is no justification for faithlessness, but faith is always justified. Faith is the opposite of fear, as much a part of love as fear is of attack. Faith is the acknowledgement of union. It is the gracious acknowledgement of everyone as the son of your most loving Father, loved by him like you, and therefore loved by you, as his love for you would keep no one separate from yours. Each one appears just as he is perceived in the holy instant, united in your purpose to release from guilt, and you see Christ in him, and he is healed because you look on what makes faith forever justified in everyone. So it's an introduction again, or a reminder from the Course to see the Christ in others. Right? This is to see the Christ consciousness, or you can say see the light, or see the Buddha, see, whatever you want to call it. I see that in them. Sonia, did you want to say something?
Yes. So it seems almost difficult because I kind of find I create boundaries on those people, like the fact that like you still have that person in your life that keeps breaking their word.
Yeah.
Like when I have people, I guess I just don't like drama in my life. And unless you're like family and blood, I'll like handle a little bit more and be a little bit more forgiving. But
Yeah.
so you just keep forgiving them and keep accepting the drama and keep accepting the lies and the behavior.
Well, so
Yeah.
there are some things tied to this in a way that is like, well, I mean, I don't need to, right? I don't have to have this drama in my life. But of course, there are tangible things that I'm like, well, either I shut it down and then close all possibilities, or I just keep this door open and I feel called. There is a connection here. Like, I don't just do this with everybody. I'm not going to go and just play this game with everyone, right? But one thing that I am pretty, I would say, good at is listening to what spirit guides me to do. And it's almost like this person feels like a brother that has been assigned to me for my own healing. And like, of course, I create this certain level of boundaries with strangers or whatever, but there is deep connections and things like that are tied in a lot of different ways. And karmically, I do believe there's some sort of contract that I can recognize. And so he's just been now the person that I am playing this game with. And he's been a great teacher, teaching me patience, teaching me forgiveness. And if I was to ask God for a teacher to teach me these things, if I'm like, I'm studying A Course in Miracles, please teach me deeper about what forgiveness and patience and what the Holy Spirit and what the Course is talking about. Show it to me. This would be the only way that I can possibly really learn this, right? So I'm recognizing that. And this is the healing that happens is when we change and shift our perspective around something that just once upon a time is so painful and triggers, because by closing that door, it doesn't leave. The trigger part of us will stay because that's unresolved, and it will just show up in another relationship. It will show up somewhere else. And then we have to go and close that boundaries. Then all we're doing is just figuring out how to build walls around our garden. Right? The Course is like, this is the entire teaching of the Course is we need to undo the walls that we have built. We created boundaries off of what we felt like people like would be unsafe around these types of people. But these boundaries literally once upon a time provide a safety for us, but now is also keeping peace and keeping things out. And as we build more and more walls, think about it. Like, let's just build these walls for another 20, 30 more years with all our experiences. By the time now we're at a certain age, our walls are so high around us that we can't even really experience because we're like, what's on the other side of that wall? So like, even in the experiences that we do and breakthrough and all of that, is like, all right, let's see these walls for what they are, right? They protected us at one point, but they don't always need to be there. It's closing off opportunities and connections and our own awakening. And, it's just an invitation, right, from the Course, is like, if you really want to experience and learn about love, like, there's classrooms everywhere. Every person becomes a classroom. And, at your own pace, choose how that is going to be. But if you hold grievance against anyone or anything, you will never escape some sort of pain or fear that will show up somewhere else. So you cannot have love if you're keeping grievances as well. This is what the Course says. Because then you're like, I want some of these illusions, but I also want peace and love and truth. Well, those grievances will show up in your closest relationships. It's just going to happen, So, yeah, and I don't really have an answer for you. I'm just throwing my own life things out there, and I don't even know if I'm choosing correct. I just keep praying to be shown, like, where's my path? Who's my next teacher? And I wanted to
I guess
shout.
we could just not be so quick to shut down, like, okay, bye, I don't need you. Like,
Yeah, and that's okay too, that's okay. Like, you don't need to put yourself in places that's going to generate more fear either. Right? All of this, the barriers, the no barriers, all of that is a game of the illusion world. So there is no right answer to it here, but it's, can I look at what it's for, right? And when something else shows up, can I also look back to, oh, maybe this wall that I built here is also showing up here now in a relationship that I do care about, Yeah. I declare I do not want more teachers. Yeah. Good luck. If we are playing in this world, they're either going to all be teachers or they're all going to be,
yeah.
I don't know, whatever is not teachers. Okay, so let's continue here. We have one more page to go. Faith is the gift of God through him whom God has given you. Faithlessness looks upon the Son of God and judges him unworthy of forgiveness. Oh, look, we're about to get into the exact conversation that we just had here. They're unworthy of forgiveness. We're cutting them off. Forget you. There's a wall that I'm putting you in a prison in my mind, and I will guard the doors to this gate. But through the eyes of faith, the Son of God is seen already forgiven, free of all the guilt he laid upon himself. Faith sees him only now because it looks not to the past to judge him, but will see him only in what it would see in you. It sees not through the body's eyes, nor looks through the body for its justification. It is the messenger of the new perception sent forth to gather witnesses onto its coming and to return their messages to you. Faith is as easily exchanged for knowledge as it is the real world. For faith arises from the Holy Spirit's perception, and it is the sign you share with him. Faith is a gift you offer to the Son of God through him, and wholly acceptable to his Father as to him, and therefore offered you. So right now the course kind of goes back and forth, but it's basically saying anything you offer to your brothers, you are actually offering to yourself. And anything that you would take and withhold from them, you are withholding from yourself. And that is the law of exchange. Okay, so it's what is given is received. Giving and receiving is actually one. That is the law. Faith is a gift you offer to the Son of God through him, and wholly acceptable to his Father as to him, and therefore offered to you. Your holy relationship with its new purpose offers you faith to give unto your brother. Your faithlessness has driven you and him apart, and so you do not recognize salvation in him. Yet faith unites you in the holiness you see, not through the body's eyes, but through the sight of him who has joined you and whom you are united. Grace is not given to a body, but to a mind, and the mind that receives it looks instantly beyond the body and sees the holy place where it is healed. There is the altar where grace was given in which it stands. Do you then offer grace and blessing to your brother? For you stand at the same altar where grace was laid for both of you. And be you healed by grace together, that you may heal through faith. In the holy instant, you and your brothers stand before the altar God has raised unto himself, and both of you laid faithlessness aside and come to it together. There, you will see the miracle of your relationship as it was made through faith. And there it is, you will realize that there is nothing faith cannot forgive. No error interferes with its calm sight, which brings the miracle of healing with equal ease to all of them. For what the messenger of love are sent to do, they do, returning the glad tiding that it was done to you and your brother who stand together before the altar which they were sent forth. So the Course actually really talks about that we return in pairs, okay? As faithlessness will keep your little kingdoms barren and separate, so will faith help the Holy Spirit prepare the ground for the most holy garden that he would make of it. For faith brings peace, and so it calls on truth to enter and make lovely what has already been prepared for loveliness. Truth follows faith and peace, completing the process of making lovely what they begin. For faith is still a learning goal, no longer needed when the lessons have been learned, yet truth will stay forever. Let then your dedication to the eternal and learn how not to interfere with it and make it slave to time. For what you think you do to the eternal, you do to you, whom God created as his Son is slave to nothing, being Lord of all, along with his Creator. You can enslave a body, but an idea is free, capable of being kept in prison or limited in any way except by the mind that thought it. For it remains joined to its source, which is its jailer or its liberator, according to which it chooses as its purpose for itself. So, this last line is kind of like a banger. It's like, you are the mind, and you can either be a jailer or you can be a liberator. There's nothing else. So the Course is introducing two more options that really is the same thing as love or fear, God or ego, faith, faithlessness, illusion, truth, perception, knowledge, and now jailer or liberator, right? And this is, yeah, Mikhail, yes. Here's a choice, right? In any given moment, this is the line for us to practice for the rest of the day. In any relationship, in anything that you perceive and anything that you speak out of your mouth, am I a jailer or am I a liberator? And just see how interesting our ego goes into these two choices right here. We know, here's the thing. Jailers limit, liberators unite and free, right? So if that's the only way to interpret, just watch how the mind goes into, well, no, I'm a liberator because I'm going to jail this person, I'm going to free myself, and then all this other stuff. But we know the truth. So today is about being more honest with ourselves, right? The Course doesn't call you to awaken now. It's not up to you to awaken now. You're in your sleep. Good job. But the Course says all you need to do is to become more honest. Faith will bring honesty. And honesty, what the Course says, is not to just speak your mind about what is real for you right now. That's not honesty. Honesty is to align yourself to the version of you that is real. Not the ego version to just speak out whatever it wants to speak. Like, that level of honesty is a very, It's a different level of honesty. This level of honesty, the Course is saying, is to look within yourself and to recognize and to truly say, am I a jailer or am I a liberator? In my thoughts, in my words that are spoken today, and yeah, as the day goes on, we will have many, many opportunities to practice this today. Just in our thoughts and in our... I'm going to write this in my notebook, actually. This is a good one. You know, I need a new process or practice of how do I write in my journal, because I have so many different ideas from all these different things. I don't want to have a whole bunch of journals, but I'm literally writing things from the backwards in, front ways in the middle of the journal, folding a page, and it's a mess. Hopefully I'll find this again. Am I a liberator or a jailer today? In thought, in words, in action. I have so many. Someone just said I have so many journals. I'm sticking with one, and I'm committed to it until this is all done. Yeah, we make a declaration, right, to ourselves today, like, I am a liberator. For whom I liberate, I will liberate myself with. You know? Okay. Questions, thoughts, comments? Wow, this is actually a really easy read. I'm actually very inspired by the way this book is written. I think I'm going to want to write it like this too. I see all things as I would have them be. Forgiveness ends all suffering and loss. All right, well, we have about 8 more minutes here. Does anybody want to share anything? I do actually have one more thing to share. If you guys have not gotten a Vedic reading with Tala, do yourself a favor and do so, because I just got mine yesterday and it was freaking epic. Apparently, I'm going into a new 18-year cycle. I'm coming out of the intensity of the last 16 years of initiations and learnings and intense. Like, my life was very intense for the last 16 years. Pretty proud of how I've walked the last 16 years, but apparently starting February 4th is my new 18-year cycle going into a different place. And this is the time that I will be truly stepping into, in the reading, it was guru or teacher. And she's like, I wouldn't be surprised that in this time that you're going to find yourself a couple new mentors and teachers. So, yeah. And apparently I am going to be shifting from being this promoter type to a more analytical type, which is interesting because I thought that I'm always going to be like this. So she actually says things that you work on with your hands. Drumming is now going to be it's the rhythm, the Shiva drum, she says. It's the rhythm of your life, you know? And so starting to play, and it's so interesting because that's exactly what I naturally drew to, is like, I've been playing the drums more. And yeah, it was just, she's like, one thing about you, Alex, is she can tell. She's like, I can tell you're very connected to spirit and this like what your life is being guided to, because it's crazy. And on February 4th, the day that the shift happens, that move from one to the other, is actually the day that I am speaking on the United Nations stage, which is like insane. February 4th, you know? And then I'm going to Peru after that. So my travels begins next Thursday. So send me lots of love and prayers as I go on my journey. And yeah, we'll be sitting with lots of grandmother, grandfather medicine in Peru, and yeah, be a good time in my transitions. So if you have not gotten she is in the chat, in the Course in Miracles chat. So reach out, Tala. Her readings are freaking epic. It's so epic that I have decided that this coming year. Oh, and she also says my success is going to come from shared resources, which is exactly what we've been doing with the Legends Leaders group. So as I'm thinking about this, all of a sudden I'm like, I'm going to create an event.
We had an amazing 6 weeks, and we were basically going.
We're going to create I want to create a live event that offers the retreats and the experiences of, for sure, Tala's reading, maybe Sonia's offerings, and we're going to put it all together into one offer. And yeah, so it's already like being developed. Those all just reinforcing what the path I'm already on. So her Vedic readings, I'm going to invite her to speak this coming Sunday, but her readings help reaffirm some of the choices that are in front of us today. Because we're like, should I do this? Should I not? This is opening, that's opening. And then all of a sudden she like reads your life through because there's 12 of, the astrology, the zodiacs, but each zodiac has also 3 different, or 2.5 different gates or whatever. And then each one of those have different doors. And it's like, where does your life and your cycle land right now? And what does that mean in your love life and all? I'm like, wow, this is insane. So it was very, very awesome. And it just gives me so much more confidence and peace in what is actually showing up in front of me. Of course, right now I'm going through this crazy initiation of the last thing. And she talked about my past life karma of what I haven't resolved. And in this life, what I'm actually resolving is to feel more, is to emotionally feel more, which is kind of cool. She's like, you have, in your past life, you were in doing something that was requiring quick decisions and to elevate above emotions. And for this last 16 years, that has also been your practice. And your lessons are in being able to live deeper into intimacy and actually the emotions. And so that's, of course, ending this 16 years, going so deep into all of it. And yeah, I'm excited for the next 18 years that's opening. Anyways, I'm just sharing about that, and you can have your own experience around Tala's magical readings that she does. Okay, anyways, that will conclude basically today's call, unless anybody feels compelled to ask or share anything else. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Sari, for your shares. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Honored and blessed to be walking this journey with everybody. I will be in Florida next Thursday. So if you are in Florida, I don't know, maybe we'll find some time to meet or something. I will be there till about the 3rd. So then I'll be in New York. So if you're in New York from the 3rd to the 5th, let me know. If you are in Peru from the 5th onwards, let me know. We'll try to make some time to to collide.
Happy birthday. Thank you for being born yesterday,
Oh, yeah.
many
Thanks.
years ago, to connect us all here now.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Much blessing to everybody. Thank you, thank you. And we are
Bye.
now.
Happy birthday.
Thanks. We are now going to officially close today's circle. And I'll see you guys on Sunday. I will bring Tala to the call and we will continue this chapter of attainment of peace. So, see y'all later.